Hello and welcome to WOLV Overtime. Alex Prasad, Merrick, Stone, Peter, Saul, and more Michigan sports disappointment for you. Yay!
I really wanted some more.
I know.
I was begging.
S'mores. More disappointment for you, Michigan sports
fans.
Wow, what a great week for Michigan sports. Of course, Michigan men's basketball scores 44 points in a complete game, which is mind-boggling. We have all sorts of NCAA investigations into football.
But we do have a gold medal in ice dancing. Or silver medal.
Silver medal. That's disappointing as well. Everyone had their hopes up for gold and they only got silver. Well, anyway, more disappointment. Might as well show it to you, I guess. We'll start with Friday. Saturday was an exciting game, but disappointing that Michigan has to, duke it out with, I guess, Northern Michigan, of course. Well, let's take a look at the highlights Friday. Michigan with an 8-game unbeaten streak at Yost on the line. They spent the 6 of the first 10 minutes on the power play. We'll talk more about that later. Right there, Brian Liebler running into the goalie. He's not happy about that, and Northern Michigan is converting on the power play just seconds later. It's Gregor Hansen to the goal for the Wildcats. 1-0 Northern Michigan. And then just 2 minutes later, the fadeaway wrist shot, Merrick. What happened here?
These are the issues that Hogan has been having all season. He moves over and he's going to empty, and the shot goes in because he doesn't see it coming.
And just before the end of the first, Michigan's going to strike back here. First, a good opportunity for Northern, and here Carl Hagelin jetting down the ice. Luke Glendening corrals the rebound and sticks it in. Hagelin got credit for the goal. There's no way he scored that, but somehow it goes in, Peter, and great hustle for Michigan.
Right, just one of the fastest skaters in college hockey, breaking through that defense real quickly.
And then you're going to see Michigan breaking out of the zone again real quickly, right here off this rebound. This time it's Greg Pattern. We'll hear more from him a little bit later. He fires a wrister at Brian Stewart, Northern Michigan's goalie. Saved right there. Stewart played very well, especially on a Friday. And here the fourth line working overtime as well. Scooter Vaughn down there and AJ Treyas with a good opportunity. No dice right there, still 2-1. And then Brian Hogan standing strong at least right here. A big save right there, some chaos out in front of the goal. Chris Summers with a nice dive there. And then one of the weirder things we'll ever see in a hockey game, Peter.
Yeah, Brian Stewart hitting the mask here, but it doesn't take his mask off, so it says he decided to voluntarily take his mask off, which is kind of insane. Obviously, the refs have to blow their whistle. He gets a replacement mask. They were skeptical, though, about possibly giving him a penalty. And
then again, the first line of Glendening, Rust, and Hagelin with a good opportunity, trying to knot up the game late in the third period right here, but no dice. Missed again. Frustrating game. And then Merrick, Sloppy Joes, served at Yost Arena in the third period.
Yeah, Michigan's problem is that they try and play such a finesse game that they forget the basics. And then they get sloppy. And you definitely see that on their power play over the weekend.
And there's Brandon Berlin with a good shot from the slot right there. This is a late power play for Michigan in the third period, but it's just not enough. And Northern Michigan, here's another opportunity. And Northern Michigan's going to finish it off with an empty net goal. Michigan loses despite out-shooting Northern 39-21. Michigan goes 0 for 8 on the power play. The worst season in the last 20 years. Rolls right along.
Happy I'm here to see it. Really happy.
And we'll take a look at the stats in just a second, but first let's start with the power play failure. We'll break it down with Adam Brewster a little bit later in the show. But Merrick, we'll start with you. That really was a turning point in the first 10 minutes there. 3 power plays. Maybe 1 scoring opportunity.
Yeah, and they don't convert on any of it. And I know Red had said that, it really disrupts the flow of the game. Players can't get into the flow of the game when you go on the power play so early. But a good team can get over that. It's fine.
I guess this Michigan hockey team just isn't a good team, Peter.
Well, they're certainly not. I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, they have 11 NHL draft picks. How many other teams in CHHA have 11 NHL draft picks? Maybe Notre Dame, maybe Miami, but I honestly doubt that. We'll have to look into that later. So this is obviously a talented team. Why they haven't been playing up to their potential is, will be one of the great mysteries of our time here in Michigan.
One of many great mysteries. And, of course, one of the most disturbing things about this game, though, was the sloppy play. It wasn't just, Peter, that Michigan couldn't convert on the power play. Their, chaotic power plays were even more chaotic when it was even strength.
Indeed. And it's just sloppy plays, not connecting passes together. The neutral zone was a mess. You'll see here, just not getting pucks from stick to stick, and it ends up just being a disaster in the neutral zone for Michigan.
And not even just in the neutral zone, in the defensive zone as well. There were a couple opportunities that Northern got when just, a lazy pass from a defenseman trying to clear the puck found the stick of a Wildcat. And then Merrick, we sound like a broken record over and over again, but it's the same formula. Michigan falls behind early, maybe even has some opportunities early, can't capitalize, gives the other team the lead.
They can't get it back.
Exactly.
And I don't know, is it a mental thing? Because, that's what you would think, because they are such a talented team, but I would have no answer for you as to why they can't turn it around.
Well, I guess if we had the answers, we would be Red Berenson and not us here.
Right.
Just a disappointing game. Of course, Northern Michigan with only 2 NHL draft picks as we looked. 11 draft picks, 2 draft picks. Who's the favorite? Can't figure it out. All right, well, on Saturday, at least it was an entertaining game for the fans at Yost. Let's take a look at what happened on Saturday. An interesting game for sure. Of course, Michigan wore the whites on Friday, wore the mazes on Saturday, and they were looking to bounce back after a disappointing loss on Friday. And what a wild game it was. Michigan came out tough and physical right there, a big hit by Liebler. And then Lindsey Sparks right here with a hustle play in front of the net, stealing it from a Wildcat defender, getting a good shot, turned out by Stewart. And then just the dumbest interference call you ever did see right there on Berlin, making up for his physicality. And there, a big save by Brian Hogan. Hogan played on and off, just like the whole season in this game. And then here's a good chance right there for the Michigan Wolverines, but it was Gregor Hansen that opened up the scoring in this game for the second straight night for Northern Michigan. He's going to capitalize on it. There you go. An own zone turnover right there. The wrister, 1-0 Northern Michigan. And Peter, turnovers right in front of your own net.
Always a killer. That's always a disastrous formula.
And then Northern Michigan keeping up the pressure late in the first period, but Hogan turns them aside, and it's 1-1 at the end of the first. On to the second now. Louis Caparuso continuing his hot streak. He gives it to Carl Hagelin there, throws it in front of the net. Somehow it goes in. The goal gets credited to Luke Glendening, and Merrick, a big game. It's actually 1-0 at this period, and it ties it at 1-1.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what they need to do. They need to be able to show up in the first period early in the game. Otherwise, they're in trouble.
And then just 11 seconds later, Kevin Lynch, almost too fast for me recording this game as well, scores it. Goal number 2 for the Wolverines, 2-1. Great hustle right there, but Northern comes right back. This game was up and down all game, ties it at 2, and Justin Florek finds the back of the net. You see the pass right out center. Hogan barely even has time to react. It was 2-2 for a whole 5 minutes in this game. The scoring just keeps on going. Here, Michigan on the power play, solving some of their woes. There's a rebound here. Berlin with a chance. Winnett corrals a rebound, flicks it in, 3-2. And we talked about having Chris Brown in front of the net. Well, how about having Chris Brown and Kevin Lynch screening the goaltender in front of the net right there? It looks like Stewart maybe had a good shot or a good angle at seeing that puck, despite 2 guys in front of him, but it works. 3-2 Michigan at this point. And then Brian Hogan and Stewart step up a little bit here in the middle of the second period. No more goals scored. Hogan did 2 big saves there, both on shots from the point. And then Stewart is run over by Kevin Lynch. It's actually a penalty on the Northern defenseman, and Michigan goes on to power play near the end of the second period.